Something's wrong in Bikini Bottom, but it's not obvious. No nonsense, no explosions, no one yelling, "I'm ready!" at 6 a.m. Just stillness. The kind that creeps in quietly and refuses to leave. The patties aren't flipping, the jellyfish aren't dancing. And on Conch Street, it's just total silence. At first, everything looks normal, but if you stop and really look, something's missing. Not a person, but a feeling. Like joy that never showed up. And under a dull, brown rock, a weirdo blinks awake. Patrick opens his eyes. No alarm, no sunbeams. He just wakes up, like a computer in sleep mode that flickers back on. He doesn't dream, not because he can't, but because there's nothing in there. No memories worth replaying. To him, things have always been this way. His days don't start, they just continue. No salt, no flavor, no shame. This is just breakfast now. It's not laziness. Well, not just laziness. It's that time moves differently when you're always alone. But this isn't just a lazy day. Something is about to snap him out of this silence. And when it does, nothing will ever be the same. Patrick steps outside into a street that feels off. It's sunny, it's calm, but where's the weird? A jellyfish passes by, alone. For a split second, Patrick thinks about following it. But there's no one there to yell, "Let's catch it!" So he just lets it go. The moment fades, and so does the jellyfish. Then, it happens. Patrick hears a laugh. Somewhere not far off. Light, bubbly, and distinct. Not the sarcastic kind Bikini Bottom is used to. This one sounds real. Happy. Patrick tilts his head. He takes a step forward. Then another. He doesn't know where he's going. His feet know something he doesn't. And for someone who usually forgets to blink, that's saying a lot. He walks past Squidward's house, past a patch of land where something should be. A house maybe. A pineapple? But there's nothing there. And just like that, the laugh is gone. Just kelp, sand, and water. He looks around confused, then turns back. Another day ends the way it began. Slow and forgettable. Except maybe something almost did. There's a tiny tickle in his brain, like a question trying to form. A sense that something's missing, or maybe someone. Whatever it was, he feels it, even if he doesn't understand it yet. He hasn't moved in hours. Still staring at that same patch of sand, the one where he thought he heard laughter yesterday. Every so often he squints like he's expecting something to reappear. A sound, a sponge, something. But nothing comes, not even a breeze. The day drags on, and in town, something feels off. At the Krusty Krab, the lights flicker off early, again, 3 days in a row now. Word is, the fry cook got fired. Some say he quit. Others say Mr. Krabs screamed at him for burning the patties. Either way, the grill's cold. You wouldn't think flipping Krabby Patties would be hard, but maybe the problem isn't the patties. Maybe it's the city. It's not broken, not exactly, but it's off. Too quiet, too tired. Like everyone's just going through the motions, waiting for something that isn't coming. Patrick watches it all from the curb, and for the first time, the silence bothers him. Eventually he stands up. No plan, no map, just a feeling in his gut that says, ask someone, anyone. Something's wrong, right? So he walks up to one neighbor who's never happy, Squidward. Squidward opens the door halfway. He looks like he's already regretting it. There's a long pause. Patrick doesn't say much. Patrick fumbles through something, a half-formed question about a noise, a feeling, maybe even laughter. He points off toward the jellyfish fields. Squidward crosses his arms, leans against the frame, doesn't answer. His face says everything. I don't care, and I don't think you do either. And just like that, the door closes again. Patrick turns around and starts walking around the city. Patrick wanders. Past Larry's gym, empty. Past Goo Lagoon, silent. Past a crowd gathered at the Chum Bucket, of all places. Yeah, that Chum Bucket. The food is still awful, it always was. But people are lining up anyway. Not for taste, for routine, for anything. They're not here because they like it, they're here because it's something to do. Even bad habits feel better than staring into blank space. And that's when it hits him. This whole time he thought he was the broken one, But maybe the whole town feels the gap, but they just stop trying to fix it. And that hurts, more than Squidward's blank stare. Because if no one remembers what's missing, then maybe it never mattered in the first place. But if it did matter, then maybe Patrick is the only one who still feels it. And if he's the only one, then maybe it's up to him to fix it. This city needs a sunshine, and I'm gonna be the star who fills it. Patrick wakes up before the water gets warm. That's never happened before. He doesn't know why, but this time, lying around just feels wrong. Like sitting still might crush him, so he moves. He walks, past Goo Lagoon, past jellyfish fields, past the places he's floated by his whole life but never really seen. The city is already moving. Boats buzzing, fish chatting, life acting like everything's fine. Patrick tries to slip into the rhythm. He stops outside the boating school. Students circle in tight loops, practicing turns like they've got somewhere to be. He watches them go, over and over. He imagines himself with a license, driving a boat, going somewhere, being someone. But why should he? He doesn't own a boat. Even if he did have one, it's not like he's got somewhere to be. He sits on a bench nearby. A group laughs in front of him, loud, just like any group of friends do. Patrick tries to laugh with them, claps when they clap. They don't look at him, not even once. To them, he's background noise, a pink blur in a world that already has what it needs. Later, he finds himself in front of a glass dome. Inside, a lady squirrel is building something tall, strange, and brilliant. Sandy Cheeks, the smartest creature in Bikini Bottom. Reporters crowd around her. Cameras flash, everyone's watching. Patrick watches too, quietly, from behind the glass. He's seen her before, plenty of times, but she's never seen him. They've never talked, not once. And that's all it ever was. Without SpongeBob, Patrick never met her, never laughed with her, never got dragged into some wild experimenter's sky-high idea. And Sandy? She's incredible. Smart, brave, bold enough to bend the laws of physics just to see what happens. Patrick? He watches from behind the glass. Not part of the scene, just a blur in the reflection. He wonders, what if I built something too? Something bold, something weird, something that might make someone, anyone, finally look his way. But the thought folds in on itself before it even forms. Why even bother? Whatever he built, it wouldn't matter, wouldn't make her look his way. That night, he tried anyway. Patrick sets up a little show outside his rock, a stool, a chalkboard, and a couple props he made from sand and shells. He tells a joke, then another, trips over the punchline, nobody's watching. One fish stops to watch, not because it's funny, but because it's weird, then walks away shaking their head. Patrick doesn't get it. Why is it so hard to make people laugh? To make people interested in him? Patrick thought maybe if he acted loud enough, smiled big enough, people would see him, hear him, feel something. But all it did was echo into nothing. It lands in his chest like a rock. He stares down at the chalkboard and then turns and walks back inside. Patrick stands there, chest rising fast, breathing hard. No tears, just fire, like frustration wearing an empty costume. He thought he could fill the hole, but the world didn't just ignore him, it swallowed him whole. And in that silence, something sharp and new starts to form. A resolve, because today broke him. And when you break, you either fall apart, or you start again. Tomorrow won't be about trying to be someone, because Patrick is done chasing laughter. It'll be about becoming something else entirely. The next morning, he comes into a bargain mart. Patrick wanders the aisles like someone sleepwalking through someone else's life. He's not shopping, he's just there. Until he sees it. A jellyfish net. Brand new, shiny, too perfect for a shelf this dusty. It shouldn't matter, but something about it calls to him. The cashier shushes him out, but he keeps the net anyway, no one stops him. He takes it to the jellyfish fields, stands there in the open, wind tugging at his arms. Swings once, misses badly, swings again, nothing. He has no idea what he's doing, but for once, he's doing something. That has to count for something. For hours, he chases jellyfish through the kelp, trips, falls, even gets stung. The other fish in the fields avoid him, whisper when he passes, laugh at him, But Patrick doesn't notice, or maybe he does and just doesn't care. Because this isn't about jellyfish or being good at anything. It's about chasing that spark. That laughter he heard days ago, the one that cracked something open in him. But the more he reaches for it, the further away it feels. He finally collapses, drops the net, breathless, empty, raw, and he screams. Loud, wordless, raw. A sound that doesn't ask for attention, it just needs out. All the confusion, the failure, the aching loneliness, he lets it rip through the water like a shockwave. And then, he cries. Not dramatic sobs, just a steady leak from a soul that's finally realized what it's been missing. Because now he gets it. He was never trying to be SpongeBob. He was trying to fill the space SpongeBob would have filled for him. A best friend-shaped hole, a partner in chaos-shaped gap. And the worst part? You can't replace that. You can only feel it. When he walks home, there's no triumph. Just tired limbs and a sore hand. But he holds the net tighter than ever. Squidward sees him from the window. Patrick's outside sitting on his rock, talking to no one. And for the first time, Squidward smiles. Just a little. Not mockingly, more like recognition. The kind you make when something small finally makes sense. Because deep down, Squidward understands what Patrick has been doing these last few days. He heard that laughter too. He just didn't have the guts to chase it. Patrick lies down outside that night. He doesn't stare at it, doesn't even think about it. Patrick just closes his eyes, and for the first time, he doesn't need answers to fall asleep. It's already morning again. Same light, same water, but Patrick doesn't get up right away. He looks like he might just fall back into that old routine, the one before the laughs. But Patrick made up his mind. He gets up, not to wander, not to chase, but to go there. That patch of sand, the one spot that's always felt wrong. Not exactly broken, just missing something. He kneels, takes a stick, draws. Not scribbles, not a joke, a shape, a square. He doesn't know why, he just knows. Something should have lived here. He sits beside it like it's a grave, or a promise. And he smiles. Not because he's happy, but because for the first time, he understands what the silence was trying to say. It was an invitation. Not to chase laughter, not to copy it, just to listen. To be himself. The laugh he heard wasn't meant for him. It was a shadow. A shadow of someone who was never there, but should have been. He stays there for hours, not sad, not desperate, just present. For the first time in his life, Patrick's not suffering from the silence. He's sitting with it, owning it, and somehow that makes him feel less empty. Patrick always thought he needed the world to laugh at his jokes, but maybe he just needed to stop being afraid of being the only one listening. That night, Patrick doesn't return to his rock. He falls asleep next to the drawing. The wind howls, the sand shifts, but the square stays. And tomorrow, maybe the laughter comes back. Or maybe Patrick will be ready to create his own. After that night, Bikini Bottom lived like it always does. Boats pass, sea snails meow, nothing looks different. Patrick loves to walk through town. No jellyfish net, no puppets, no performance. Just him. A few fish nod as he passes, no one stops, no one stares, but this time they see him, and for once, that's enough. He doesn't try to join a crowd, doesn't tell a joke to a jellyfish, he just walks, just because he wants to move. And somehow, that's the closest he's ever felt to being himself. He still visits the empty spot where the pineapple never stood. The drawing in the sand is gone now, blown away by the wind, but Patrick doesn't redraw it. He sits in the same place, closes his eyes, listens to the wind. The silence doesn't feel lonely, it feels calm, balanced, even. Like the space isn't waiting to be filled, but waiting to be met. Maybe someone will show up here someday, or maybe not. Either way, Patrick will be ready. He walks home as the sun dips behind the reef. Passes Squidward's house. Squidward is at the window, watching. Their eyes meet. No waves, no smile, but Squidward doesn't look away. Patrick enters his rock, not to hide, but because it's home, and he had to prepare for tomorrow. Some friendships never get the chance to begin, but that doesn't mean they didn't matter. Because when someone like SpongeBob doesn't exist, you don't replace the weirdness. You just feel the gap. And if you're lucky, you grow into the silence he left behind. But Bikini Bottom isn't the only place that tried to live without him. After SpongeBob changed cartoons forever, dozens of shows tried to follow in his squeaky, absorbent footsteps. Some came close, most fell flat. So what happened to all the shows that tried to be SpongeBob? It's weirder than you think, and we already made a video about that.